What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of TeamB Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Bullet B, joined by my co-host, Bill Mack, and you can't teach that. So, saw some End Zone Cash finally debut on Monday Night Raw, the most popular over tag team in NXT, finally on Raw, and you can't teach that. Yeah. Also saw some Apollo Crews up in there taking on Tyler Breeze. I think Tyler Breeze need to go breeze his ass back to NXT. What you think about it?
He does. He's not getting the push. He's not. I mean, he was in that Battle Royal and didn't even get a mention at all. You know, he wasn't even one to come out. So yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. He needs to go back. I mean, he's not getting the push. Vince isn't too really high on him. If Vince did, a couple of weeks, Vince wasn't high on him after that. I mean, if you can't go over with Dolph Ziggler, that's a problem, So, yeah, dude, I totally get that. I really, really do. I don't blame him. He needs to go back and just stay there, That's what he needs to do, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, he needs to stay there until Ziggler retires or something. Yeah.
But I mean, but as far as End Zone, yeah, man, they were not. I mean, they're really well known, and they've talked about them a lot in NXT. I'm glad to see them come up if they'll do them right. See, that's where I always get worried when you have your NXT guys going up to WWE because that roster. But I think it's not so bad because we need some new tag teams. I mean, the Usos are kind of wore out. The Dudleys had to come back. And you just in the Ascension just flopped on their bellies. So, yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to seeing. I think they're on what?
Did you know the Ascension is supposed to be an Illuminati group? That's their theme.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was copying the Road Warriors.
No, well, yeah, that too, but they were supposed to be like an Illuminati group. I was reading about them somewhere. Yeah, that's why their Titantron videos got Illuminati BS in it. But yeah, this was the Monday Night Raw post WrestleMania Raw, and the crowd was crazy. My favorite kind of crowd. Not as strong as last year's crowd, from what I've heard, but they pretty vocal. They were happy as hell to see End Zone Cash, and they cut a promo on the Dudley Boys, and Dudley Boys did the chicken shit heel run. They got in the ring and backed off and ran off. Dudley Boys did, so I could see them feuding with the Dudley Boys there. That's pretty cool, and yeah, Sasha Banks took on Summer Rae just to get it out the way. And then we had a ceremony for the new WWE Women's Champion. And, Charlotte cut a promo, a little honored, and everything. And the women around her walked out the ring except for Natalya. Natalya said, I beat you before. We'll see who the real better woman is, the Flairs or the Hearts. And Charlotte and Natalya had a little back and forth there towards the end of the WWE Women's Championship celebration. So I'm thinking that's going to lead into a little feud there. So what happens to Sasha and Becky? I don't know, but
yeah, I felt so bad that Charlotte won the women's title and went over because Sasha. I was kind of hoping either Sasha probably would have got it. Becky Lynch would have probably been second in getting it. But I think that match was just with Charlotte and whatnot. Retaining that dude, I think that was totally one of those matches. And they mentioned at WrestleMania, I know you heard it, it was one of those finishes you didn't think the winner who won is not the person you thought would have won.
No, I got that right. I said Charlotte was going to retain the title. And I think it made sense because she's the most over diva right now, in my opinion. They're doing the best work with her because of Hugh Hefner, and she was already Divas champion, so I think she should transition into the women's champion. But I mean, it could have went either way, but that was my pick for Mania was for Charlotte. But it could go either way. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Sasha. Right. And I don't remember.
I was when I watched it live on demand, I was thinking Sasha was going to win it because Snoop Dogg came out there. I said, damn, I should have changed my opinion, but I saw Snoop Dogg came out there, but I said, well, Snoop Dogg just walked out there and went home, does because he got things to do and people to see and grass to smoke.
Yeah, man, it was good. It was cool, man. I enjoyed seeing him in there, and you know, it being a pretty good show. So I thought that it was pretty. You know, I thought it was interesting. Everything was good, but I hope that they continue pushing Sasha, because I know Becky got hit in the eye, man. They showed a picture of her eye, how it looked after that fight. So, but yeah, man, I tell you, I understand what you're saying about keeping Charlotte and basically pushing her.
Right. So yeah, well, Roman Reigns came out to cut a promo. He said, "I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm the guy." And everybody, including me, went boo. Because I don't know, man. Maybe he just had a little bit of stage fright at WrestleMania, because the dude didn't deliver. And when he got the belt, he acted like he didn't even care. But other than that, he got confronted by Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, this big promo. Sami Zayn wasn't in the main event, but he was in this promo part, and they were just trying to build up a new challenger for the title, because I guess Triple H forgot he's got a rematch clause, you know, when you lose the title. So,
of course.
Yeah. The hell with it, you know.
I'll tell you what that dude. I thought that was going to be a basically good match, because you've got all of those guys in there basically can wrestle. They can put on a good show if WWE will allow them to. You know how they are protective of some of their wrestlers and saying, like, tone it down a little bit, don't go full on with it. And I'm like, okay, but don't you want to put on a wonderful, great match for the crowd? Don't you want the ratings? Because when people don't, then what are you supposed to do with it? I just totally don't get it whenever, they do that. But I thought that was a pretty good, matchup. And with Reigns, you mentioning Reigns, he didn't really help himself out with WrestleMania. I agree with you. The match was very lackluster with that. And then when he came out, as he come off as backstage as being someone that they felt like wasn't dedicated and didn't make enough appearances before WrestleMania. And Roman even said himself, he's like, he said, they asked him, why do people turn on him? He said, you don't feel that the people turn on him. Well, what about all those boos that they filled right on SmackDown? I mean, did you hear that video that somebody played of the unedited booing of Roman Reigns when he came out? I mean, dude, when you have to pipe in cheers, that's kind of telling you something about your guy. I mean, if they're not but cheering him, then they're booing him. I mean, they just don't like the way he was force fed, and WWE can't really. And I mean, they're blaming the wrestlers because they don't feel like they're putting him over. But my God, how much more can you put the man over? When as much as he seemed dominant, other than against Brock Lesnar, he seemed dominant. And I mean, what more can you really do? And then I feel like the way some of them do it, it's the way the uppers do, and it's creators' fault. They didn't create him right. And everybody, even legends, are saying turn him heel. You and I have been discussing for months, if not a year. Turn the man heel, you'll have your ratings in. Turn the man heel, you'll have your reactions. They'll be justified. Give him a year, turn him back face again, he'll be well-rounded. But WWE is like, they're wanting to do what they want to do, and they're not listening to nobody else. And I guarantee you, if WCW had been around, Vince would have been that stubborn here to make the changes.
Did you hear about echo 3, 2, 1 1, 2, 3 go away? Did you hear about that investor wanting to buy WWE for $1 billion? And I was reading the comments about it, and they said there was no internal negotiations within WWE. That's just a rumor, but people were in the comments were saying, "Hey, Ted Turner, buy it, Ted. It'd be irony. It'd be so ironic. Buy it." I said,
it would be funny.
Yeah. Ted's too old now, though, and people in the comments were like, "He still owns TBS." I'm like, "No, he don't. He don't own the Superstation no more." and he's too old now. But that would be funny though if he did buy it.
I know.
Hey Vince, yeah, I'm gonna buy your yeah. The irony in that.
It would be, man. I thought that would be funny, but I just, you know, I don't know if you know if Vince is willing to sell though, man. I mean, he's tried to create so much of it, and
that's what he said. He said no. He got offered $1 billion, and he said no. That's the rumor, you know. So
with the network and these pay-per-views and stuff up, man, he ain't gonna get rid of it. I mean, you know, no matter what the ratings are, they're not going to give up. I mean, it took WCW till some guys to say, we don't want your wrestler on our network for them to lose. They had the money and finances to do it. They just didn't have the chat station to do it. And that's what, you know, and USA's working hand in hand with WWE. So what they're not going to, I don't see them letting WWE go at any time or not negotiating with WWE because
they're talking about somebody in the comments said, "Won't Eric Bischoff buy it?" And I was like, "Well, he can't. Eric Bischoff ain't got $1 billion to pay for it. You know, if it was ever up for sale,
he could put a funding group of investors together where he could be an owner in it. But you know, who knows how big of a stake he would have in it? Because like he was trying to do with WCW, he had investors to buy it. They just included television time in there, and they weren't going to have it. I mean, that's why I don't get with Bischoff, as smart as he was. If he knew they were trying to push wrestling off, why would you include wrestling on that same station if you know they weren't going to be able to do it? I don't get.
Yeah, I don't get it. It just happened so fast. But yeah, they had the fatal. Reigns cut a promo. They had AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens in the ring, all want the challenge for the title. So I think I'm leaving out somebody. But anyway, they had a Fatal 4 match at the end of the show, if you want to jump ahead. And AJ Styles is the new #1 contender. That caught me by surprise. Now, I know what's going to happen. He's going to lay down for Reigns, and they'll probably have a rubber match and all that. But I'm thinking, hey, maybe WWE had a wake-up call. Here's a babyface people give a fuck about, and AJ Styles. Let him beat Roman Reigns and be the #1 babyface. I don't think people have a problem with that, you know, because I always said that. I said, man, if AJ Styles goes to WWE, I want him to be in the main event. I don't want him to be in NXT or anything like that. I want him to be in the main event, and that's exactly where he is right now. So I'm happy with that. Even if it's just a filler opponent for Reigns, I'm pretty happy with that. It's going to be a good match, I think, and they're probably going to have a little series out of it. But maybe this is the way Reigns is going to turn heel, because you know the people are going to be behind AJ Styles.
Yeah.
AJ Styles is the best wrestler in the company right now, from what I hear, and I think it's catching Vince by surprise and all that. So they might run with it. I doubt it, but they might. You know.
Well, who run Raw, man?
So what now?
Who run Raw?
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. We had Shane McMahon in the background running Raw, his no sell of falling off the cell. Okay. He should have came out there in a wheelchair, man. He should have came out there in a wheelchair, man.
He come out with that bruise on, and then they had an after party, and he didn't have a bruise there.
Exactly.
Hey, man, come on.
Man, he should have came walking on the stage with crutches or something. Well, yeah. Nice to see you guys. And Vince been like, hey, why don't you run Raw anyway? You know? Yeah, I forgot all about that. Shit, that was a big contradiction there. You know, they had this month-long feud to make sure Shane don't run Raw. Well, hey, let's let him run it anyway. But it's just for 1 week. It's just for 1 week, though.
I know, man. I thought that was so funny, man. And Shane come out like, thank you. You know, he's going to the crowd, and he goes to the back. Oh, it was stupid, man. I don't get that. I really don't.
Did you hear about when he made that jump off the cell and landed on the table? There was cushions, mattress in the table,
big bags or something underneath it. And Michael Cole was Sean clearly reading off the script.
Reading the script.
Oh, come on, man. They wanted it to be a Jim Ross moment, you know. Oh my God.
I forget how scripted that's just terrible, man. I thought they shoot from the hip a lot of times in commentaries, and I thought they got word from Vince on like bullet points on what to say, but I didn't know they sat there and read a fucking script. That's just terrible, man. But yeah, if I was Shane, I would have came out there in the fucking wheelchair or something,
Yeah,
Definitely.
but they didn't want him to seem too broke up if he was going to do Raw. And what they're doing with that, because they're going to say, well, Raw has been the highest since January, and that's all to Shane. They're not going to say it's the after WrestleMania one. They're just going to say with Shane running, it was higher. And then I guarantee you there's a storyline that's going to continue on for Shane a little bit longer. Just wait and see.
That's why Kevin Castle said, yeah, they can use this post-WrestleMania Raw rating and say, hey, that was Shane's responsibility. Like, yeah, right. Okay. That's smart. That's clever, though, but we'll see what happens with that. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Flop of the night, man. What about Zack Ryder, though? Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, they were calling that he was going to lose the title the next night. I think that's bullshit, man. He should have kept it a while, but he's gonna have a feud. Well, that's WWE booking, man. The champion loses the title so he can chase after the title again, chase the heel. That's just how. That's WWE booking, man. That's WWE booking. Babyface chases the heel for the title. Babyface booking. The only thing I liked about that, I felt sorry for Zach. I mean, that sucked, but the only thing I liked about it was Maurice coming out there. I was like, wow,
she's coming back. Yeah.
She is coming back. Good.
Yeah, what they were saying. That was her coming back.
Nice.
The whole thing is they made this big deal out of it. Like they showed Zack Ryder. I don't know if you saw the post WrestleMania when he was being interviewed, and he's talking about how when he was little he went to meet Razor Ramon. And now he's going to find Razor. And he's going to hold his belt, and Razor was talking about, oh man, everybody's woo woo woo, and everybody around was doing it. I'm like, look at all this now. And then
now, did you see the post interview with The Miz when he won the IC title after Raw, the Raw fallout?
No, I missed that. I think I missed that.
Scott Hall walked up to him and threw his toothpick at him. You ain't no champ. And he threw the toothpick at him. Yeah, I watched it from this look at Marie's son because Marie's, woo, She
looks great. She just ain't been on TV. What is she, like French or something?
She's not Canadian. She's French Canadian. Boo. Okay. That used to be her little thing, she said.
Okay.
Because they were in Canada one week, and she said, by the way, I'm not Canadian. I'm French Canadian. The whole crowd went, boo. Yeah, she's Canada, as Casey Tron would say. She's Canada, because she don't know how to talk. Casey Tron don't, Yeah,
and it's no, man. I've heard her on.
I was like, is that a word? Because she was on The Peasants last night. She said, I don't like Ted Cruz. He's Canada. I was like, Canada? Is that a word? And I was like, yeah. He's Canada. Okay. That's Canada.
She is horrible, man. That's why I said, dude, those divas do that. It just totally gets you to where you're like, ugh, because you don't want to see it. I don't,
Well, I don't see her getting back in the ring. I just see her being in a managerial role for The Miz or something.
And that's what she needs to do, man. All these divas have to wrestle, but you don't. That's what a manager used to do.
That's what Jim Cornette said last night on Jim Ross Report podcast. That's what Jim Cornette said. He said, take some of these divas and make them managers,
Exactly. It makes sense to do that. You don't have to – every one of them don't have – I mean, you look at Summer Rae. For the most part, Summer Rae, she's more of a manager type than she is a diva. I mean, the wrestling.
She was with Rusev, and she was with Fandango for a while.
Then with Tyler Breeze, she was with him.
That's right. Yeah. She's been all over the place.
Right. I just don't get why they don't just – she's the type that she needs to be manager. And you've seen one thing's weird too. They didn't make any kind of comment on Brie Bella retiring. That was kind of odd, which I know they said it was supposed to be some kind of pre-storyline for Total Divas, but they didn't even mention she retired or whatnot. But it was kind of
I was just thinking about that. I was going to mention that right quick about Brie Bella. But oh well.
Nikki, she come out there and still looks good, even though she's got that big old neck brace on. It keeps her neck. She's gonna be stretch that neck like 2 or 3 inches higher than the big as that thing is. I was like, God, that's big for her neck. But she's
gonna she's gonna break up, marry a giraffe, perhaps. You know? Yeah.
And her fella, come out there at WrestleMania, man. I hated that dude, and I had a bad feeling, man. I don't know how you feel when it come on, but I didn't feel it. I had a bad feeling that Cena was going to come back, even though they said.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. Yeah,
didn't he say that he weren't at the conference like a month before WrestleMania, that he wasn't going to be there?
I don't know. That's just a last-minute thing because he wasn't on Raw the next night. But he lost a lot of muscle mass, but that's because of his shoulder, rehabbing his shoulder. But I didn't really have a problem with that Rock and Cena segment because what else can you do with them? And they were the headliners a couple of years ago. So I thought the Rock segment would be a lot worse. So my expectations were really low watching it. So I didn't have a problem, especially when the Wyatts came out. I said, okay, this is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I thought that was okay. I didn't have a problem with it because it was like, what else can you do with them? But I did like the Steve Austin and the New Day, where he was trying to dance with them, then he stunned them. Classic.
Oh, yeah, Xavier.
That was awesome. Austin should have had his own fucking promo, not The Rock. I know The Rock is big in Hollywood, but that's Austin's home state. He should have had his own segment. He shouldn't have been out there with HBK and Mankind. He should have had his own thing.
You know why he did that, right? You know why he came out there?
He's ready because he had to clock out early.
Well, no. The reason why he came out there instead of having his own was because Batista was offered a spot with Shawn Michaels and Mick Foley, and he turned it down. So they inserted Stone Cold into that role.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Batista turned it down. He was supposed to go out there. And then I imagine if Batista would have accepted, Stone Cold probably would have had some sort of segment to himself. But since he didn't, they went ahead and inserted Stone Cold into that segment. So, yeah, that's how come Stone Cold was out there. He didn't have his own because Batista turned it down for making an appearance. But Rusev got mad, man. Rusev, did you hear his interview? He was pissed off. He's like, well, we won, we did this and we did that. We were celebratory and we won and all this. And they come out here and do all this kind of stuff. And, I'm a strong one. I can wrestle and whatnot. And then, he was just complaining because they didn't have they got jumped by the legends and stuff.
Their win got buried, huh?
Yeah.
Well, he should be thankful he's employed at this point, I think.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What else can you do with Rusev? They already broke his streak. He loses all the time, and so what else can you do with him?
Exactly.
He finally wins, so no wonder he was bitching. But if I was Vince, I'd be like, dude, you lucky to even have a job here, man. I'll send your ass down to NXT, But Batista, man, he's not going to come back unless it's something. He said in the interview, he's not going to come back unless it's something epic, like something like a build-up. Plus, he's pissed at WWE about Titus O'Neil getting suspended like that. He said that was bullshit. So he's not too happy with WWE and their decision-making. He's not going to come back for a one-nighter thing. He wants a story,
Right.
And I respect that,
Yeah, I get that. I mean, you got a bad deal, dude. You got a bad deal with that.
But yeah, so let me see. Not too much else happened on Raw. We had Apollo Crews show up on Raw, and he squashed Tyler Breeze. Apollo Crews pretty good. I think he needs a little bit more intensity, but other than that, he's all right.
Yeah, they were pushing him kind of big a few months ago because they said his problem would be his promo work because they said he was a nice guy and he had this good personality and he couldn't come across as being a heel. They wanted to try to get him to doing a heel type or really intense promo work, and they had a hard time getting him to do it. I remember doing that, them talking about him a few months ago with that situation happening. for that being the case. But it's because they said that they weren't able to basically, they weren't basically able to get him to doing the promo work and work on it like they were trying to work on. So, I was glad to see him make it. I didn't see if he'd done any kind of promo work or what. But we'll see if it got better. But he's decides the kind of guy that Vince likes to have. So who knows? Maybe Vince might like him if he put on a good match and Vince liked it, because he liked Enzo and Cass. But I don't, we'll see what his opinion is of Apollo Crews.
Well, the winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, the Dre for short, was NXT superstar Baron Corbin, and he made his debut on Raw as well against Dolph Ziggler, and they had a knockdown throwdown match. And I think Baron Corbin lost by countout, if I'm not mistaken, but I see a rematch coming there.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, he don't get talked about a whole lot. He don't have. I know his gimmick's the Lone Wolf, and then but he really don't have that much of a, not mystique, but this sort of dark look to him. I mean, if they make him have a dark look, that's one thing, but he just doesn't have this look to him that you can't get a grip on whether he's going to be, a good guy or a bad guy, which you saw him, like you said, the fight. But it's good to see him move up. You just hope he gets some kind of personality for them to be able to actually push his character.
Yeah, I see a lot of potential with him. Like a CM Punk type, I guess. When CM Punk was straight edge and he had the long hair, I don't know, and the tattoos, something like that. I don't know. They got some potential there. But other than that's about it for Raw, man. I mean, the crowd was awesome. I love the crowd. When Charlotte was out there cutting her, when they were honoring the WWE Women's Championship, the crowd was saying, "This is wrestling." Clap, clap, clap. This, I like that stuff. That great crowd and all that. Zack Ryder got screwed. So what?
Kevin, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but did you see that where Kevin Owens, he lost the ladder match? You saw where they said that the decision for him to drop the title didn't happen until after WrestleMania kicked off. And that was the first match.
Yeah. So him and Sami Zayn feud is not going to have a title in it, apparently.
Man, that sucks, man, because Kevin, he didn't deserve, because it all happened because Neville got hurt and they put Zack Ryder in because Owens was supposed to come out on top, but he ended up dropping the title when Zack there, and then they turn around. That's a debacle when you have one guy winning there at the last second. You could tell that was some WCW booking right there at the last minute. Well, like I said on my post show, my version, I said that was a swerve. They're swerving us. And Chris Jericho went over on AJ Styles. That's another swerve of the night. I said, "What's this? The night of swerves?" And then I started getting some of my opinions right. But yeah, it was the night of swerves there for a minute. New Day losing, but that made sense because of the Austin Foley segment. But I was like, it's the night of swerves when I was watching it. They get at the Zack Ryder just to surprise everybody. Oh, Vince was like, everybody think Zack ain't going to win. Let's let him win and surprise everybody. It'll be our surprise. And he'll drop it in 24 hours. Yeah. I know, man. It was horrible. I just felt it was so badly to see him basically get it for one night and then turn around and lose it the very next night. You know what I mean? I mean, I hate that anytime, no matter who it is that's wrestling, is that they end up basically losing like that. I hate to see a person gain it one night, lose the next. Even though it may be storyline oriented, I hate seeing that happen. So I guess, I can understand it, but I hate that it went down like it did. It really, really did. But I mean, I can understand, like you said, man, sometimes they have to throw a swirl out there every now and then for WWE fans, but this was decided, dude, like I said, at the very last minute, literally.
Right, WCW booking, like you said. But
yeah, it was. That's exactly what it was.
Well, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you watch, please subscribe to us, follow us every week. Bill does TNA Impact wrap-up every week, so if you're interested in TNA news, he's got that for you. We did separate WrestleMania perspective videos because we saw it at different times, and check those out. Subscribe. You know, we're like grass. Put some water, let us grow, you know, with that sub button. We really appreciate it. Stick with us, you know. Keep up with us every week. You know, we're similar to Wrestling Soup, Aaron Riff, all them professionals. So if you like those guys, I'm assuming you might like us too, but not as much, but just a little bit. But,
they'll love us, man.
Anyway, that's all I got to say about Raw, man. Because I did the post show, and you know that's what happened on Raw. This ain't much to talk about, you know. But we got Bill Mack with your WWE Raw rating of the week. Take it away.
Thank you, Bully B. Bill Mack here with your weekly WWE Raw rating coming in this week. This being the after show Raw after WrestleMania, we see that it drew an average of 4.094, which is actually an increase, ladies and gentlemen, up 9% from last week's 3.7. It is the highest rated Raw since the January 25th edition, which drew just a little over that with 4.098 million viewers. So that is a good step for WWE. It's always considered a big rating. It should be a big rating, and hopefully, in the direction they're going, hopefully that rating will continue going up. But as always, 8 o'clock, the show did 1.60. At 9, it did 1.56, and then at 10, it dropped down to 1.48. So as we see once again, folks, the third hour, always your worst hour. So 4.094 is the rating, and this is Bill Mack returning it back to Bullet B with your weekly Raw rating.
Yeah, it's just the 3-hour format's killing the product, but they get more ad revenue that way. They make more money that way, but it's always going to hurt the rating in that third hour like that. Mm-hmm. And the only reason the rating was high was not because of the post show. It's because Shane McMahon was on there. That's why. That's why the ratings went up.
Right, that's what he's telling the fans.
That's why. Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, everybody get the fuck out of here. We got our own after party to go to. So got some strippers and all that stuff. Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Take care, guys.